Today, I have brought you an incredible story. Welcome, friends. This story begins with a millionaire single dad, a man who had everything money could buy, yet he was empty inside. Life had taken away his peace, and his little daughter was growing up without a mother's love. One day, a young nanny came into their lives. She wasn't just doing her job. She cared for the child with a heart full of love, just like a real mother would. And then, one night, something happened that shook the father's heart to its core. As he walked past the nursery, he froze. His eyes widened and emotions overwhelmed him. There she was, the nanny. She wasn't resting on the soft bed. Instead, she had fallen asleep on the cold floor, just to make sure the little girl slept peacefully in comfort. At that moment, tears filled his eyes. He thought, how can someone care so selflessly? How can someone put my daughter's happiness above her own comfort? And friends, what he did next shocked everyone. That night changed everything. He realized that sometimes true love and kindness don't come from wealth, but from the purest of hearts. So, dear friends, if this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always remember the name of our channel, Soul of Kindness. Welcome, friends. The next morning was filled with silence. The millionaire dad woke up earlier than usual, but his mind was still on the sight he had witnessed. Last night, the nanny sleeping on the hard floor, sacrificing her own comfort for his little girl. When he quietly walked into the nursery, his heart melted. The nanny was awake now, gently feeding the little girl. Her eyes tired, but her smile soft and full of love. The baby giggled in her arms, as if she had already found her mother's embrace in this young woman. The father stood at the door, frozen. He had seen business deals worth millions. He had lived in mansions. He had attended parties with the richest people in the city. But he had never seen something this priceless. The nanny noticed him watching and immediately stood up, embarrassed. "I'm sorry," she whispered, lowering her gaze. I must have fallen asleep on the floor last night." But the father's throat tightened. He couldn't speak for a moment. His heart was too heavy with emotions. Finally, he managed to say softly, "You gave my daughter what all the money in the world couldn't give her. A mother's love." Tears glistened in the nanny's eyes, but she quickly wiped them away, pretending to be strong. She replied gently, "She deserves every bit of love, sir. Every child does." Friends, at that very moment, something shifted inside that millionaire father's heart. The walls he had built around himself, the loneliness he had accepted as his fate, all of it began to break. For the first time in years, he felt hope. And if you are enjoying the story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Our channel is Soul of Kindness. Friends, days began to pass, and something beautiful started to grow in that mansion. The little girl, once quiet and lonely, was now laughing, running, and clinging to her nanny's hand wherever she went. Her giggles filled the empty halls with life. For the first time, the house felt like a home. The millionaire father would often pause his work just to watch them from a distance. The nanny's patience, her kindness, her gentle way of teaching the child how to speak, how to play, how to dream. It was something he could never put into words. One evening, as the sun set and the golden light filled the living room, the little girl ran toward her father and whispered something that nearly broke him. "Daddy, can she be my mommy?" The father's heart trembled. His eyes met the nanny's, and for a moment the world grew silent. She stood there, shocked, her eyes welling with tears she tried to hide. The father knelt down, hugging his daughter tightly. His voice cracked as he said, "She already is, sweetheart, in the ways that matter most." The nanny turned her face away, unable to hold back her tears anymore. She had never expected such words, never imagined she could mean so much. And in that moment, friends, love quietly entered the heart of a man who thought he could never love again. If this scene touched you, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, this is your channel, Soul of Kindness. Friends, the days turned into weeks, and the bond between the little girl and her nanny grew deeper than anyone could have imagined. The mansion that once echoed with silence was now alive with laughter, warmth, and love. But the millionaire father was struggling with emotions he had never known how to express. Every time he saw the nanny smiling with his daughter, every time he noticed her sacrifices, waking up early, skipping her own meals, putting the child's happiness above everything, his respect and affection for her only grew stronger. One stormy night, the little girl woke up frightened. Thunder rolled across the sky, and she ran straight into her nanny's arms. The father rushed into the room, but what he saw stopped him in his tracks. The nanny held the girl close, whispering gently, "Don't be scared, sweetheart. I'm right here. I'll never let anything hurt you." The little one clung to her, whispering through sobs, "Mommy." The father's chest tightened. That single word, spoken so naturally, was more powerful than anything he had ever heard. His eyes filled with tears as he realized his daughter had already chosen. Slowly he stepped closer, his voice trembling with emotion. "She doesn't call anyone by that name." "Except you," he whispered. The nanny's eyes widened. Her lips parted, but no words came. She had never expected such love, such belonging. And in that moment the father made a silent promise in his heart. He would never let this woman, who had given his daughter a mother's love and given him hope again, slip away from their lives. Friends, sometimes fate doesn't send us the people we expect. It sends us the people we need the most. And if this scene touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and never forget, this story comes from your channel, Soul of Kindness.